Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm in the qualifiers for the Super Beyblade Ultra Tournament, and I'm gonna win.
Will you win?
Yes.
You better win.
You better
If
fucking believe it. Also, I don't think these are actually the qualifiers for the tournament. I think this is just like practice shit.
the practice for the qualifier, it doesn't matter.
It matters
Sometimes you
to
just
me
gotta.
because I'm a true blader. I don't care if it's qualifying or if it's the qualifying for the qualifying. I'm gonna kick some ass.
You gotta qualify to qualify.
You gotta qualify for the qualifier so that you can then qualify for the other qualifier for the tournament.
Damn.
And then once you qualify for the tournament, you have to compete in a separate qualifier.
Life is just one big game of qualifying.
Sometimes that's all you can ask of a person. It's hard to qualify sometimes, you know.
Sometimes. My friend, um, he didn't qualify. He's barely making it through high school. Last year, I'm pretty sure he only passed one class. And the only reason he passed was because I helped him do his final assignment. He sat there and he's like, damn, I'm gonna fail. And I'm like, you know
Damn,
what?
you really are just like the schoolhouse hero. Andrew's away. Like, goddamn.
I'm like, you know what? Come on, let's do this project. We're gonna do it together. Um, and you're gonna get at least an A on it. All you have to do is listen to everything that I say. And you know what he did?
He didn't.
He understood half of the things I told him to do because we had to act out a play. And I
Oh,
wrote
was this
the
like a
entire
theater
play.
class or like an English
Nope,
class?
it was my public speaking
Oh,
class.
okay. That would have been like my third or fourth guess. That tracks.
Yeah, but my acting class, my drama class, that was where I had to deliver a speech in front of people.
You have to do a
So
speech for
like,
your drama class and a scene from a play for your speech class.
yep, I was telling both my teachers about it. My speech teacher, she was like, "Don't tell the drama teacher that we're doing a drama play," and I'm like, "Don't worry."
Why?
I was like, "Don't worry, we're doing a speech for drama. You're fine." And it went just fine. We went off script halfway through, but I saved it because I'm so good at acting because I had that acting class. Pretty sure he passed the class without doing half the literally anything.
Bro, they literally got rid of the acting class between my junior and senior year, and I was fucking pissed.
Damn.
I like actually cried because I was susceptible to crying when I was in my teens a lot more than I am now, even though I have cried from time to time, even recently. But like I cried a lot during high school. It was like my peak crying. Besides like being a toddler, I obviously cried, but like peak crying beyond that was like high school because that's when the depression really started to set in. Like in middle school and early high school, I kind of like tricked myself into thinking that things were okay, and then I got to late high school and I was like, "Oh God, what is anything?"
No, I think I've cried more as a teenager than I have did as a toddler.
I remember it was like the
Uh,
day before my first day of senior year, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I don't have to wait to check like what classes I have. I can log into like my grades shit, and it'll already be there because it's the day before, so obviously they already have it set up." So I logged into my grade shit and I looked at my like classes, and acting was not there, and I was so like mad and I cried. And then I realized it was not because I didn't get the class, because like I figured it was maybe because I didn't get the class because I did have course recovery, so I only had one elective, and they make you pick like three possible electives because sometimes they can't make space. So I had picked acting, choir, and journalism, and I got journalism, and I was like, wow, that is really the one I wanted the least. Thanks, guys. Even though
gee,
I did do journalism all 4 years of high school, so I guess it was like my elective.
Or
That's probably why they picked it over choir, because I'd only done choir the once and I had done journalism all 4 years. But what they regretted to realize, what they did not realize in that decision, is that choir was not offered at my previous high school. Or I would have done that all 3 years too. So I think choir would have made more sense, and I probably should have like spoken up on the first day, and I might have been able to make something happen. But you know, they you think back on these things, and it's like, wow, if I was a little more assertive, my life would have been a little easier. But it's like you can't change the past. So I got journalism, and I was pissed that I didn't get acting, because that was like what I had put first priority. And then I realized they literally got rid of the acting class just for, I guess, budget cut reasons. Like, because obviously there's the thing where like the previous year the acting teacher did get fired for sleeping with a student. However, they had already replaced him. They already had an acting teacher who was not that guy, and that woman still worked at the school as an English teacher, but they got rid of acting class due to quote-unquote budget cuts. I was pissed, but yeah, that's my story about how I got a shitty elective in high school.
I haven't really had a shitty elective.
What kind of electives do you take? Do you have any electives that you've been taking consistently?
No. Cause, you know, at least in Michigan,
What grade are you in now? 11th? Are you junior?
Yes, I will be going into 11th as a junior.
Okay.
But my 3 core classes I have to take are all at the high school. I have to take 1 history class this year. I'm taking my final science class this year because I took 2 my freshman year. You know, because I just loved myself back then.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was so smart. Worst decision I ever made because I got the worst teacher ever. Oh my god, there's no one I hated more than that teacher.
Dude, it takes so much for me to hate a teacher. I've only ever hated one teacher. It was my fucking marine science teacher.
She was such a bitch. Teacher. I like a lot of teachers. I even liked some of the teachers in my middle school years that no one else liked. Like, no one liked my English teacher, and she was like the only English teacher that ever got me to learn anything. But then this teacher came, and she was the worst thing in existence.
You see, people have hatred for teachers for different reasons. Like, I don't hate teachers for trying to teach me. I hate teachers who are set in their ways in, like, stupid ways. Like, the worst part about this marine science teacher is how she taught her class was so, like, garbage and, like, non-intuitive, where she was like, okay, I'm gonna present all this shit, right? And you guys are gonna have a notebook. And you're gonna format it, or like a folder or whatever, and you're gonna format it in an extremely specific way, so that you have all the studying materials that you need. And if you miss a day, or if you fuck it up, or if you don't pay attention, you're literally fucked. Like, there was no catch-up mechanism for that fucking journal you were supposed to have, where, like, I fucked it up, like, day 1, and I never caught up.
Yikes. I didn't like my freshman year where we had a science teacher. I didn't like her because we were virtual, and she wouldn't let you go to the bathroom.
Fuck off! Like, I'll do what I want, bitch. I'm in my own house.
Yeah, I'm in my own house. What are you gonna do? She also had a thing for being really loud in the mornings. So if you had her like as your first or second class, you join the class and she screams good morning at the top of her lungs.
Good morning! Like that kind of teacher. Like that, like they almost take pleasure from like waking up a bunch of sleepy teenagers.
Not in that way, like
not in a weird way, but like they're like, ha, it's funny that I'm like, these kids are like falling asleep in my class, and then I'm like, hey everybody, good morning. It's like, and it's fucks with them. It's funny. I do that too as a teacher. That's fucking hilarious.
See, it'd be funny, but she'd mark you absent if you were asleep. Like, oh, you joined my class, but you fell asleep? Nah, you weren't here. You were asleep.
That's just wrong. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's why I loved my gym class so much, because I could sleep through most of it, and I wouldn't have to worry about a class until, like, 8, which is a lot better than 7:30.
I had a science teacher who really liked me in high school, which is weird, because, like, I was fine with her, but everybody else hated her, because she was, like, incompetent. but like she really liked me because I was like the only one who was nice to her because everybody fucking hated her guts. And she let me sleep once. And the high school I used to go to was so strict about like that type of shit. Like you would never get away with sleeping in class. Like they were very like tight knit like ship that they ran in that school. But this teacher just let me sleep, and it was so freaky. It was so freaky. I woke up and I was like, how long have I been asleep? And my friend is like, 30 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? 30 minutes? And this teacher just let me fucking sleep. Apparently somebody got in trouble for pointing out that I was asleep. And she was like, just leave him alone. Like he got reprimanded for saying that I was asleep and like trying to get me caught. And she just let me fucking sleep. And I woke up so freaked out because that had never happened before. Most teachers would wake me up like the first like 5 minutes.
I've yet to fall asleep in a class. I can't do it. It's impossible. I already struggle with sleeping, so sleeping in a classroom? No thanks. No way.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal, but I definitely got to the point in my life where it's like, okay, I can sleep under any circumstance. Should it be possible?
I'm thinking in
My sleep is so like
grade,
weirdly varied. Where like sometimes I'll sleep like a baby, sometimes I'll barely sleep. I'll wake up like 8 times a night. Sometimes I'll sleep for days. Like I went to my siblings' house for Christmas, like in 2019, I think. And like I had a great time. They were very nice people. I met my niece, who was a sweetheart, and I liked playing around with her. I liked being Uncle Riley for a week. But most times when we weren't like hanging out with the family, like when the kid wasn't around, and like when we weren't really doing much, I was literally sleeping. Like they had set up an air mattress for me, and I slept on that thing for like 3 days straight.
Jeez.
Like my body was just like, time to sleep. Time to use this opportunity where you're meeting your family for the first time to sleep.
In 7th grade, someone that is very renowned in my life. We all know her.
Your
I'm
hot
not gonna
mom?
mention her name. No, not my. She would sleep in our science class, and the teacher knew that me and her did not like each other at the time, like
Wait.
at all. We could
Is
not
this somebody
stand each
I
other.
know?
This is someone that you know.
Oh, this is Alex, isn't it? Okay.
And the teacher had he had it out against her. They like each. They're great. You know, they get along. But this teacher just, at that time, they couldn't work with each other. And what happened was she fell asleep in his class, and the teacher called her. Now, kids, she used him as an example. Kids, you don't want to end up being like this person and sleeping your entire life and doing nothing. And the person that was beside her started sitting up because she got offended that she was being used as an example of someone that's useless. But Alex did not get up.
Uh-oh.
She just stayed sleeping.
Honestly, power move.
No, she didn't even know about this until I told her about it a few months later. That Mr. Wang used her as an example. Fuck, I just said his name.
What?
Shit.
That's fine. Teacher. What the fuck? The Mr. Wang, as if you could identify a person with that.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. That he made fun of her for being.
Wait a minute. Did I hear that? Is his name Mr. Wang with a W?
Sure, we'll say his name is Mr. Wang.
Okay, that's probably not what you said, but it would have been really funny if it was.
It would have been, because he told me if I ever shit my pants one day to just throw them away.
I mean, that can be a viable strategy in certain pants-shitting circumstances.
He made me pull out a notebook, and he sat down with me. And Alex asked me about this later. What the hell did he tell you? Because he knew that I didn't like Alex, and he was like, alright, I'm gonna help you. And then proceeded to not help me
Here's how you kill Alex.
Here's how you don't deal with her. If you ever shit your pants, Throw them away. Don't even try to wash them.
Here's how you deal with Alex. If you ever shit your pants, throw them away.
He made me pull out a notebook and like actually take notes, and I was like, okay. And I don't remember what the other two were, but I remember that one because how could you not remember that? Like, it's just you can't forget it.
No.
If a teacher
Mr. Wang's unforgettable advice. If you shit your pants, throw it away.
Yeah. He would never go to work, or he would always come to work even if he was sick, because his parents were like on their deathbeds, and he wanted to be able to have the time off for a few months if they were to die. So like for like 30 years he came in every day.
Bro, teachers
even
taking like
sick.
significant time off is always like I feel like that damages people's educations. Like as much as like teachers are people too, but like if they teachers teach classes in very particular ways where it's like if you resonate with a student and they start learning the way you teach, if you suddenly like take 2 months off and get replaced by a substitute, that student's gonna get thrown off because that substitute's gonna teach a different way, and they're gonna be like, no, wait a minute, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, in 7th grade, my English teacher retired halfway through the year because her back was so goddamn bad that she just couldn't come into work.
My math teacher quit because his students like literally drove him to quit, and he admitted it. I don't think they're allowed to admit it, but my teacher did. He like literally cried. He had like tears in his eyes, and he was like, you know what, you guys aren't that bad, but like the rest of my classes have driven me. I'm done. I quit.
In 7th grade, a history teacher left the building, and we all knew why he left, because we were awful kids, and no one would admit it except for the guy that replaced him. He's like, yeah, he left because you guys are fucking awful. I was just like, wow. And you're the teacher that's supposed to deal with the special ed kids? Oh god.
Wait, are you a special ed kid?
No, I'm not, but the guy that did our history class for a bit, he was someone that that taught the special ed kids.
Oh, okay. Which, you know, just as valid as you and me, those special ed
yeah.
kids. Nothing wrong with them, but...
Yeah. I personally, I find children that have autism a lot easier to deal with than kids that don't.
You know what? Autism, pretty based.
My ex-girlfriend's little sister had autism, and she's blind, so it's like, damn, you're set up for failure. There's nothing you can do. It's kind of unfortunate.
All the chips are stacked against you.
Yeah. But she was great. I loved her. When the day that me and my girlfriend we officially split up, she brought her little sister with her, because her little sister is just as attached to me as she was. So it was like, damn, you're really gonna do this to me?
What, like a baby sister?
Hard. Yeah, she's like 2.
Aww.
She's like 2 or 3. So like, it was hard because like, she's not old enough to understand that I'm just not gonna come around anymore, but she's also like,
yeah, that shit's gotta be hard for kids. Like any relationship that like a child becomes involved. I think I don't know if I could say this for like if you have a little sibling, but like if you have a kid, relationships are definitely more. Like,
oh yeah, if you have a kid, relationships are like. Ooh.
Like I'm not gonna name any names here, but I know of certain married couples who. Certain members of those married couples have been very bipolar about their relationship and whether it's going to proceed. And there are children involved, and it's like, wow, maybe make a decision. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, because people are going to know who I'm talking about. But you know what?
I have at least 2 people in mind right now. I have a much better idea of who it is.
I don't think you do. You're not very involved in the circle that I'm talking about.
No, it doesn't matter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, you can tell me in 5 minutes and this episode is over.
Well, I at least have 2 people in mind, and I'm almost positive that one of them is the right answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like children being involved, like I think you have to start thinking outside of yourself once there are children involved.
Yeah.
Like people who talk about like maintaining their marriages for the kids, like there's something to be said to that. Where it's like something beyond yourself is involved in this and you kind of have to factor that in.
I think that it'd be better to just get divorced than stay together for a kid, because that can lead to a very unstable household. So like, mm,
Well, it
I
depends
don't
on
know.
like whether you really hate each other or whether you're just like I
Yeah, like
don't
it
love you
depends. Like if
anymore.
you
Like
hate each other,
like
or
if it's like I don't love you in a romantic way anymore, but like we can still tolerate each other, then yeah, staying together for the kids is a noble thing to
oh
do.
yeah,
But if you hate each other, then
if
maybe
you hate
just
each
get the fuck
other,
out of that relationship
yeah,
and like try to handle the kids in the best way possible.
yeah. Oh my god, if I can just get rid of these goddamn stuffy nose, that'd be great. That's all I need to get rid of right now. And then I'll be free.
Bro, I had to fight all these people like 3 fucking times. This is taking way
Oh
too
my
long.
god. Man, seems like a very repetitive game.
No, it's fun.
Maybe.
Well, things can be repetitive and fun, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
All mobile games are like, or at least like mobile games in the traditional sense are inherently repetitive, but people get like addicted to those.
Well, yeah.
Like fucking Flappy Bird. Were you like, I forget when Flappy Bird was. Were you like cognizant for
Um,
that era?
I was. Um, but the only way I knew about it was Smosh, so like that's how you know like
Oh
I
my
was
god,
still
I remember
very
the Smosh
early.
Flappy Bird video. That was like right around when Smosh started to suck, I think.
Yeah, that's when I like came like I figured a lot of things out on the internet. Was when Smosh like through that, I don't know, like that 2013-14 era.
I think 2012 was like the year of Smosh. Like a lot of the best Smosh sketches that I remember are from like 2012. And then like 2014 it got like bad.
At one point I was only really watching Smosh for the food battles at the end of the year.
Yeah, the food battles are always a big event. Listen,
Yeah.
listen, these kids, they had fucking Avengers Infinity War to look forward to. We had food battle.
We had food battle, and I was excited every year up until like the chocolate coated banana. And then after that I was just like, well, I don't know.
Was the last food battle was pretty shit, right?
I don't remember it, so I would assume so.
I think it got like I think they like half-assed it, and then at the end of the day it was like maybe food battle isn't so good and we should stop doing it, and that was the moral of the video.
Yeah.
Like we had good times, but this concept is played out. Maybe we stop. And then Anthony left Smosh like 6 months later.
Yeah, and then Anthony left Smosh and I was devastated. But he's done a lot with his career now, so it's like, well, we know who's gone further in their careers between
Well, I
Ian
mean,
and Anthony.
Smosh still does well for themselves, all things considered. They're just for
I
a
mean, yeah,
younger
Smosh
audience.
still does well.
And I still like some
And
of their
then,
shit. Like some of their, for me, it's like I don't watch full Smosh videos anymore, but I have seen like clips, and some of the clips are pretty funny.
I see clips of Anthony's stuff, but I don't see anything Smosh related anymore.
I see clips. I think it's the second channel they do this. I don't know if it's main channel, but I guess they do these like really intricate, elaborate try not to laugh challenges where like they'll like act out skits to get the other people to laugh. And there's this clip I have saved that's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen, where the premise is it's the plot of Kingdom Hearts acted out by somebody who's never played Kingdom Hearts, and it's like one of them is like has like the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts, and the other one's like a guy in like a dark cloak, and it's like darkness is dark, and it's like all these like tropes from Kingdom Hearts that people make fun of it for, and it's like the funniest shit, and then it devolves because the guy who's never played Kingdom Hearts says something about crystals, and then the guy dressed up as the villain takes his hood off, and he's like, "There's no crystals in the game. I told you about this." It's really funny.
No crystals.
There's no
Talking
crystals in
about
the
'em.
game. There's the 7 princesses of heart, and I actually saw a Smosh video recently. I think they made it like a year ago, where they made fun of old Smosh, and it was like, oh, this is kind of mean. Like, this is kind of mean-spirited. They were like, they hardcore, like, bullied classic Smosh that everybody loves and remembers. Like, the premise of the sketch is that Ian hits his head and he thinks it's 2008 again. And he calls all of his co-stars Anthony. like, like all, like, the entire, like, Smosh group. He's like, hey, girl Anthony. Hey, black Anthony.
I think Smosh went downhill after the Smosh movie. I think that was when it really went downhill. Which I forgot about that until like just now.
You know, the Smosh movie, not awful.
I don't remember it, besides like maybe 1 or 2 clips from it.
This is like a weird guilty pleasure thing. I actually really like Ghostmates, which is the second movie that Smosh made.
They made 2 movies?
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
made the Smosh
God.
movie, which is like a full-on Smosh film. But then they got like hired on to make another film for YouTube Premium, but it was not the Smosh movie 2. It was a different film where they played different characters, and it was called Ghostmates. And the premise is that a guy dies, and then another guy buys his apartment. But the guy...
Oh, that!
Yeah. And Ian is the ghost, and Anthony's the not dead guy. And he's gotta, like, make peace with the dead guy's girlfriend. It's a good movie. I liked it. It was fun.
I remember when YouTube tried to do movies, and then they stopped.
Yeah, that didn't go too well.
Logan Paul was in a handful, and then Japan.
Speaking of stopping, it's been a hell of a session, folks. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.